Live to Live friends, it's Rochelle Baum, and guess where I am at? This is one of my favorite mountains, but I'm in Utah, my home state, and I have the amazing Amy King here, and we're going to have a great, awesome interview because this is a kind of prelude to my new show that's coming up that we'll be doing called Barriers and Breakthroughs. So that's what I'm going to be talking to with Amy about today. But as you see, we're wearing the same shirt, and it's for a specific reason. I'm really excited about it. We'll show you. Yep. You can zoom in if you want. That's awesome. So the reason is because this Amy here is a mother of 8, like I am. A mother of 8, and she has 4 boys and 4 girls, just like I do. So we're kind of like sisters, but from another mother, right? I like to say the mother. And when you hear a little bit about Amy, you're gonna see that I wish she's like everything I wanted to be, and accomplish things that I just couldn't quite get to. So she's just a really amazing person. So we're gonna just talk a little bit about her accomplishments, some of the barriers that she's had and breakthroughs that she's had, because I know you're gonna feel like you can identify with some of the things she's had. And so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Just tell us a little bit about your fitness history, what you did growing up, high school, that kind of thing.
Okay, so I did 4 sports in high school. I did volleyball, basketball, softball, and track. Grew up in an athletic family. I had an older brother that I was always trying to compete with. My dad was in athletic training and taught me how to weightlift really young, like 12.
Weightlifting, ladies.
Which is huge, yeah, to stabilize those joints. And so I just learned to love it at an early age and continued on.
So she's an amazing athlete. Tell us some of the things, you took state championships.
Yeah, we were ranked. I was lucky enough to go to an awesome high school here in Utah, Mountain View. We were ranked nationally. We went back to back in state championships. We did well, and we took 4th in volleyball. I was selected for the all-star teams for volleyball and basketball for state. And then in track, I did shot put, javelin, and discus. And I broke the record in shot put and went on to BYU and competed in javelin and the other throwing events.
So javelin is what I wanted to do, and I almost took state, but I had a devastating knee injury that I think I've shared that with you. But you didn't do javelin to start with, right?
Not really. I did shot put. I was more muscular, and I was a softball player, and my coach never thought that I would be a good javelin thrower, which he did. He's like, go ahead, throw it. And I did. And the first time I threw it, I whacked myself with it. And he's like, see, I told you. But by telling me that I couldn't do it, pushed me to want to do it even better. And that's what I did. I worked on that skill, and it's a very technical throw. So that's what I did with my coaches, and really wanted that and set out that goal.
That's awesome. So Amy's had 30 surgeries, so that's lots of barriers. I tore my knee, but I didn't even have surgery for it. So tell us a little bit about what happened when you had an injury. I think it was in the middle of a state year and everything.
So my major knee surgery was my junior year in high school, where we were in the state championship game, and I blew everything out. I tore my ACL, my MCL, my PCL, and I had to go out about halfway, and sitting there, I barely could walk. And then at the very end, I don't know if the determination or the adrenaline, I went back in for the last few plays, and we ended up winning state that year. But I had surgery a week later, and it's a 6 to 9 month recovery. I was rehabbing myself three times a week, and 2 months later, I was throwing the javelin, just standing. I wasn't able to run or anything, and was able to get to state that way. And then about 5 months after that, I was back playing volleyball for my high school.
Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, she's just got this determination. So, I've had pain before, and I deal with I'm a physical therapist, so I deal with pain all the time. But like that must have been super painful. Like I don't know how you did that. That's just pretty amazing.
It definitely is the most painful surgery I've ever gone through, and the rehab alone.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to miss out on my senior year, and I would do anything to get back into doing that. And I mean, I would have rehab sessions at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I would go at lunchtime, and then I would do one at 6 o'clock. And that's what I just had to do if I wanted to play.
So I got a cast on my leg, you know, when I tore my knee injuries 2 weeks before state, and I was throwing javelin too, so we identify a lot, but I could just see myself out there with the cast.
Trying
to throw.
yeah.
I should have tried. I might have done it. Like,
could have.
See,
Yeah.
I should have met Amy before that, and she would have inspired me, you know, so there's people like that around. So Amy also had a chance to go to the Olympics, and that was when she was at college, so tell us what happened there. Like,
So,
these are major barriers, so I just want you to hear about some of these barriers. You know?
Yes, so that was really hard for me. I had just won my junior year the Mountain West Conference Championship and was on goal, and I had kind of tweaked my shoulder a little bit at nationals, and I continued kind of competing through practice, and it was just getting worse. I just didn't rest it. And
This was volleyball.
This was during track, during javelin.
Oh, okay.
And we were doing cortisone shots, and we were just trying to, which was not healthy at all.
Cortisone shots are not
Yes,
good.
I find out later that that's why my shoulder is the way it is now. But I missed out by like a couple feet to go to the Olympic trials. So even though that was like 20 years ago, it's something that it's still in the back of my head even now, and it's still hard to, you know, you set out on a goal, and if I come up shy on it, it's very difficult to kind of get past that mentally, but I have. And
See, she needed me, the therapist, the pain specialist, because I would have told her not to do all those cortisone shots and showed her how to rehab her shoulder appropriately so she could have competed. But anyway, we finally meet. You know, it's okay. We're going to still inspire each other. So, okay. So tell us a little bit about your family. So. I know you went on a missionary trip that you did in Peru, right?
Yep.
And
so after I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, because my goals were all just kind of uprooted, and you know what I thought was in the future kind of changed, which happens to all of us. We have to kind of adjust to the challenges that we get, and so I chose to serve a mission, and I went to Lima, Peru, and served there. Met my husband, came home, graduated, and after I graduated from college, we got married and decided to start our family. And so that's where we began, and I had a lot of kids really fast, and that's where I'm in the thick of it right now, just taking care of them and pushing them.
So did you and your husband talk about like how many kids? Like my husband and I met my husband on my mission too, actually, which was amazing. But when we got married, like I wanted to be a therapist. I wanted to, you know, have a large family because I came from a large family. But and he didn't. He just had one sister. But we kind of wanted a large family, so we decided 7 or 8 kids. Even when we got married. So I don't know if did you guys do that?
We talked about it. I came from a family of 8. He came from a family of 8. We both kind of decided on 6. And we got 8. So we shot high, I guess. But yeah, we both like having a big family. I love it. I mean, our kids are really close. I had 8 and 11 years. So my oldest is 15 and my youngest is 3. So they keep us very busy.
And are they pretty active? You like sports, I know that. So do they do sports?
Yes, I like to push the kids because I think sports teaches them so much about themselves, about their determination, their commitment to themselves and to their team. I just think if they don't love it, I just want them to try 1 year of anything. I have a daughter that a couple years ago, I put her in basketball and she cried and cried and said, I hate this. And I said, okay, I've already paid, just give me 1 year. And by the end of the season, she's like, can I do it next year? I just feel like sometimes kids need a little push because they don't know what's good for them or they don't know what is really in them that they'll love. If they didn't like it, I have kids, like my oldest daughter doesn't want to do swim, and I said, okay, you know, you tried it, you don't like it, go find something you like, whatever it is.
I'm kind of like that a little bit with piano. Like, all my kids have to play the piano, and that's good for them, you know, even though they wanted to quit. Some of them, once they get past a certain level, they can start playing, then they've loved it, and they haven't ever fought me. But like, sometimes, you know, you got to let them stick with something so they can see how good they can be, you know. So anyway,
and just find their own path. I mean, I have one of my daughters is an amazing drama and debater, and something I would never have tried, but I love seeing her passion in something, whether it's sports or in drama or debate. It's good to see that passion and that drive in your kids.
That's awesome. So you talked a little bit about like developing character with sports. I mean, you can do that with other things too. What has driven you? Like, has it been sports? Like, how have you learned about your character? You know, being an athlete, you go through conditioning, and it's hard. And what is it that you think has that built your character? Like, helped you have discipline, or what is it that drives you?
You know what? I always look back on this. I had a sister that passed away, and we were really close. And I always look at, she never got the chance to do any of this, and I always felt like I wanted to do more because she missed out on the opportunity. And there's several people that don't get the chance because of injuries or because of disabilities. And I feel like, I don't know, I wanted to do this for her because she just never had the chance. That's what kind of drives me. I mean, it might not drive everybody, but there was such a bond between me and my sister, and I kind of felt there was kind of a hole that was left when she passed away. So I just wanted to give everything in this life to anything I had.
Wow.
I think that's what really motivated me to try everything and just see where it led me.
Wow, that's really inspiring. You know, like a lot of people. I mean, that's a big barrier too. Like I've lost my oldest sister, died of cancer, and I really miss her still. I think about her a lot, and I know some people can become bitter, or you know, it can still be a barrier for them. Yeah. But for you, it's been something that's actually helped you.
It was kind of different. I could have been, and I've seen every one of my family members. We are striving to be better, that we can live up to any expectations that she could have had for us, but also just the chance to see her again and just to be the best people that we can be. And I look at all my family, it's like my best friends. We're very close, and I think having that missing link has kind of kept us all close, though, too.
That's really cool. Yeah. So I want you to tell me a little bit about like how other moms, you know, like, have you been keeping fit? What do you do during your pregnancies? How have you stayed, you know, in shape even before or during or after your pregnancies and gotten back in shape? A lot of moms like worried about that or not sure what to do.
I think every pregnancy is different. I know with my first, I literally was on the couch for 9 months. I was so sick. I couldn't move. I was just really ill with her, so I didn't do much my first pregnancy. I was barely able to get out of bed because I was so ill with her. But I ended up having a baby, pretty much my first two are 11 months apart, and I wasn't sick with my next one. And to be active with my kids and getting out and going, I wanted to teach my kids. Yeah. So even though I wasn't able to go to the gym, there's always programs or things that you can do just in your home. You can just grab some light weights, some heavy weights, and put in some squats or some even just push-ups or jumping jacks. And it's fun, actually. I even do it now with my kids. I have a little 6-year-old and 5-year-old, like, you know, if I start doing my workout, they're like, oh, I bought them little 1-pound weights, and they love doing it with you. And so even though I'm getting my workout, they're looking at me and going, oh, hey, this is fun. It's like a bonding thing. They have no idea they're really working out. I'm like, here, just follow me, and they're doing squats with me and overhead press, and they, you know.
So awesome. That's awesome. So I'm glad you said that, because I think have showed some of the videos that I've done with my daughter Morgan, who's come to the gym with me this last month. So I just dropped her off at college, but she's never lifted weights before, and she came to the gym, and I cried, like, seriously, all morning driving away. It was so hard for me, but because I felt so close to her, and doing those kind of things, I've enjoyed being with my kids, being active, and so.
Well, I even think
really
about
fun.
when, just with my mom, having those times that my mom, she wasn't a big runner, but every single day she would go for her walk, her hour and a half walk. And so I remember as a teenager, I'm like, just to have that bonding, like, yeah, I'll go with for a walk. And I think even now as moms, I think we all need that, just that friend to go, hey, you want to go for a walk,
Yeah.
Because I think if someone's there pushing you, you're more accountable to meet up with them and say, okay, today's the day, okay, we're going. And it's nice to have someone to talk to. I think as a mom, because we're sometimes at home and we don't have that adult interaction as much as we'd like.
Totally.
And so we need that. We're not only exercising, but we're also, I think, feeding the soul and our emotional state just as well as our physical state.
Super, yeah, like you're synergizing a lot of things at the same time, which is so great. And that's why, I did Lift to Live. I think a lot of you have known how much I'm trying to promote you gals going out and getting a workout buddy, or someone to go with, or a team of somebody. And so that's how I know Amy, because her sister started cycling with us. So she's one of the four of us that cycle together, and I know if some of the other friends are not there, that her sister Crystal is going to be out there, and so it helps me get out of bed even though I'm tired, and then we talk and have so much fun together. It's super great. So I'll be showing you some videos of that, but I hope you can show me some videos of you and your kids working out. That'll be super fun. So another thing I want to ask you about, like, you shared an experience of a friend that had a trial that you kind of helped.
Yeah,
with,
my friend, really good friend. Two of my boys are her best friend, her boys' best friends, and she lost her husband. He's barely young, 38 years old, 4 months ago, and she struggled even now is still struggling. I just saw her this morning, and we did this lady put together this boot camp, and she does it every 6 weeks, 6 o'clock in the morning. And even though she's now going back to school, I said, hey, you want to do this with me? And she was kind of, I don't know, because it's hard to get past a tragedy. And she was still in that mourning stage. And she's like, I need this, let's do it. And there was days the night before we'd call each other. I'm like, are you going? Like, I'd be up with one of my kids all night being sick, and I'm like really tired and don't know if I want to get up, but I know that she was waiting for me, or I needed to pick her up in the car, and I'm like, okay, let's go. We're gonna do it. And just knowing I had someone waiting, and was waiting on me, and I didn't want to let her down, kind of helped me get out of bed, help her get out of bed. We helped each other.
Yeah, so it's such a simple thing that people don't tap into, like just getting somebody. I'm amazed at just how much more effective you'll be, like how much harder you'll work out. When by yourself you might not work out as long, or like, okay, I'm done, but if you're with somebody,
you do work out longer.
Yeah, yeah, especially if you're competitive, you know what I mean.
Yes, you have someone to compete with, especially if we're
fun.
in the gym weight training. We push each other. I did it with this lady the other day, that took me a while to get back up to the weights because of my injuries. I do a lot of more lower impact, but I look at her and I'm like, she's lifting more weight than me. I don't want that. And it pushes you. It pushes you to lift more and do more reps. And
that's awesome. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, what advice else you could give moms that, don't know, like you had the advantage of having somebody showing you how to do strength training. And, that's why I did the videos, just to help women know at the gym you can actually do these weights, and it's really better for you because you're going to have osteoporosis. Have you, had anybody not know how to lift weights that you've worked with that
Oh
helped
yeah.
them figure out how to
I
do
mean, like I said, my dad, I mean, he trained bodybuilders. He knew about weightlifting. He did all these athletes at BYU. So I was in the gym with him. So I think the key is learning how to do it correctly so you don't have those injuries. But I mean, I definitely have gone into the gym with just my neighbor friends or anybody that I've met that don't know how to. And I even teach, I substitute teach every once in a while PE, and to see these young girls that are, you know, sophomore, junior, seniors, and we're doing our little warm-up, them not knowing how to do it. Like, I'm like, simple squat, don't let your knees go past, because it is important. But I think it is important if you don't know how to lift, because lifting is really important, I think, for women to keep that muscle, but to find someone that can maybe teach you. And once you learn, it's pretty simple after that.
Yeah.
And you'll feel so much better.
Yeah.
Lifting, and yeah.
It gives you a lot of confidence and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your dad, because I know that's been hard for your family. A little bit about what's happened lately and how you think strength training's really helped him.
Yeah, so my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's, but was misdiagnosed. So he actually has PSP, which is a supranuclear palsy, and he has been, I mean,
It's
very rare. There's no cure.
Fatal.
No cure for it. He hasn't spoken for many years because it just paralyzes your joints, and that's what they usually die of, is either pneumonia or aspirating. And so I've helped take care of him the last little bit and just to watch him. But they only gave him 4 to 7 years to live, and he's lived much longer than that. He's deteriorating now, but I really believe it's because of his strength training was key. He was always in the gym, even after he was diagnosed, lifting every single day. And even though now he's on a walker and a wheelchair, every morning we're getting up and he's doing those exercises where most people their muscles just atrophy, and I mean that's it. So I really believe even with his diagnosis,
He's at 15 years.
yeah,
right?
he's lived almost double what they predicted.
That's
they said 4 to
amazing.
7 years, and it's about 15. And I really believe it's because of the time he put in the gym. And I mean, even now, I mean, to lift him, he's got a strong grip because of that.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I know that's really hard because you've seen your dad. Like, I see elderly patients, and I try and help them maintain their strength and do this strength training because it helps them so much with their functional mobility and keeping mobile. But you know, I'm sure it's hard on your mom, and just seeing his spirit like be, you know.
Oh, it's definitely hard. Like, just to, I mean, if you knew who he really was, that he'd never want this, but he has affected so many people that, I mean, even now seeing him, they'll say, oh my gosh, I remember when we were at 4 o'clock, he'd meet people at 4 o'clock at the gym and go over his program. And these are athletes that they were getting training. He had professional athletes from the NFL that would come back to him, and he would put them on a weightlifting program because they loved his program so much and they saw results. They would increase their bench press and their squat by 20%.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
By doing his program. And he always knew the key was to stabilize those joints, and was that muscle.
Yeah.
I've got a son right now who has a back injury that he was born with, and his key right now, I tell him, to play football is strengthen his core. And so he does yoga every day if he wants to play football. Cool. Because he knows that strength in that core is going to affect everything, especially his back.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good you have that knowledge. So that's amazing. So I know we have just a few more minutes. So tell me a little bit also about kind of your time management, because that's what a lot of people ask me with having kids. Like, how do you fit it in? How do you keep, a balance if you can? Or, obviously tell me a little bit about your husband and how supportive he is with you.
Yeah, so we used to go to the gym together. Our schedules and our work schedules is different now. If I need to it's kind of like eating, I think, sometimes. When you don't plan ahead, then you'll eat whatever is in front of you, right? Yeah. you know, right?
Chips.
Like I keep some almonds in my car, you know, because I don't know how it's going to be. But if you don't plan your meals, then you'll probably have some failure throughout the day. If I look at my day,
Gummy bears.
yeah, anything, you'll grab anything.
M&Ms.
So I look at my day, and if I am booked with work and getting kids to back and forth to school, and the only time I have to work out is 6 o'clock in the morning, then I need to prepare for that. And it is nice to get someone there, because then if someone's waiting for me, then I'll be up at 6 or 5. I love spinning, so there's a class here that's at our gym at 5 o'clock. And I'm also a morning person, so that works for me. But there's some days, if I've been up with one of my kids, or we were late, you know, coming home from a ball game, because I think sleep is really important too for a mom.
Yeah.
So if it's not going to happen, I also kind of look through the day, and I'm like, okay, the only thing I have today is going to be an hour walk, you know, right after I drop the kids. So me and my husband will at least try to get a half an hour to hour walk in. But I think the key is, if you miss a day, and I had a hard time mentally getting over this, if you miss a day, your life's not over.
Yeah.
Like I always felt like, oh no, like my whole program's messed up. Nope, you just start back over, and you know, you give yourself that day and say it's okay, you know.
That's awesome. I really like that, because I miss days too, you know what I mean? And that just happens sometimes. But you know, there's a saying that, like, if you're starting something and you mess up, like some people just throw in the towel.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know, I'll start my diet next week, or I'll start working out next month. But you know, if you just get back on track,
Yeah.
you just keep going, and not, you know.
And not be so, I think for
Yeah.
me, especially because when I set out for a goal, and if I don't accomplish it, then I'm really hard on myself. I'm my biggest critic. But I feel like if you miss a day, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. We're not perfect, and it's okay. Like if my kid needed me to hold him that day, that's more important, right? But I think the planning is the biggest thing.
Good.
If you don't plan, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
At least in my life.
Yeah, fail to plan.
Yep.
Plan and fail. Yeah,
Yep.
that's really true. And with a large family, that's what you just plan it in your day.
Well, and I was on this, you know, I wear my little, how many steps I get, whatever. I sometimes, you know, all these sports, you have to be there an hour before, and I'll drop my kid off, and then I'm like, okay, I've got an hour, and I'll just walk. It can be something simple as just walking around the field while they're warming up before game time.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be, I'll do some, I mean, I might be the weird mom doing lunges on the sideline, you know, while we're waiting, but.
My husband walks up and down stairs at the stadium.
Yes,
you know, like,
to stadium. It all looks natural. It just looks like you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
That's good. Lunges, yeah.
Yeah, lunges.
Push-ups, right?
Yes.
Do you do push-ups?
I do push-ups.
We're gonna do push-ups at the end of this, because we're just gonna do it for fun, because I like to do push-ups. But
yeah, I think push-ups is great upper body.
Yeah.
And you don't need any weights. And it's a funny thing with me and my kids. I don't like too much punishment, so I don't like to do the whole timeout. So if they like leave things out, or if they haven't done their chores, they owe me push-ups.
nice.
So now they're getting physically fit, and I don't have to make sure they're in timeout or anything. I'm like, okay, you owe me 10 push-ups.
That's good. I started that a little with my kids, because we just did it for fun, and they wanted to do push-ups with me, and I saw some of them are not very strong, so maybe I just need to make them do push-ups.
Yes.
When they do something wrong, like, okay, 20 push-ups.
Yes, and every kid is different, and I can look at my kids and think,
3 push-ups for you.
Yes, 3 for you. Or let's just do jumping jacks, you know.
Yeah.
That's torture watching you.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome. So I know it's hard for some people to find a friend, or they feel like they don't know how to ask somebody. Like, do you have any advice for how to find someone to work out with if you're maybe shy or not sure? Or what would you say for women, like moms, you know, how do you...
Well, get your kids involved. I mean, this summer I rotated because I still needed a babysitter, and it's a lot easier to go in for a walk without pushing a stroller. This summer I rotated with my kids, and so I would have one-on-one time with each one of them. So I started with my 15-year-old daughter, my 10-year-old son, and they loved it. They didn't really know they were working out because we went for an hour, but we were just talking.
Nice.
And
Cool.
so start with your kids, because if we can get the kids active, and not only
Awesome.
that,
Yeah.
you know, kids really do love that. They really like that one-on-one time. Besides that, a neighbor, someone in your ward. I look around and see some people in my ward that, you know,
Your neighborhood, like
that they, or you know what, the other day I just went walking by myself, and I ran into two people that walk every day, and I said, hey, can I join you? And I just joined in, and we just started walking together, you know.
Awesome.
So.
That's one thing I've learned going to the gym is people are friendly. Like, they just want to talk to you, and you know, people enjoy working out together. So like, don't be afraid to just talk to somebody, and then you just it just helps you to find someone and make a friend, really.
Well, and especially at the gym, everybody needs a spotter if they're by themselves. So if you say, hey, can I get a spot? And then you do get that friendship. But if you do find a consistency at the gym, you will see that you have the same people there, and you will get to know those girls. Like the spin instructors are like some of my best friends now, because they're consistently there instructing the class every day, every year. And so they're also there as your support too. Even if you go to the gym, find a class, your instructors kind of turn into your best friends.
Yeah, that's really true. I've noticed that, because you're achieving something good together, and it makes you feel bonded, and that's just a natural side effect of working out with somebody together. Like, you get to know them. Like, I'm going with Crystal, your sister, and she tells me hilarious stories, and we love it. It's super fun. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how I met you, because of her. So, which is really cool. So, your husband, really fast, I want you to know, like, he's awesome. Like, I love my husband so much, like, for letting me have an amazing, beautiful family. So how has he helped support you, like, being fit and, like, being a good team together, you know?
Oh, well, if I'm like, okay, I need to go to the gym, I need to do this certain class, then he makes sure the kids are taken care of, and so I don't have to worry about that. Or if I don't get to go to the gym, I'll say, hey, you want to go walking with me? Because it is easier. I do like walking, but it is funner with another person.
Yeah.
And so he supports me in that. Eating healthy. Like sometimes I'm really strict on when I eat. So if he wants to go out to eat, I'm like, okay, but I'm not eating this. So you can't order anything that I'm not eating, you know. So he'll help me with that.
Well, I'm sure he appreciates that you're strong and fit and all that too, you know.
Yeah.
So that's great. So you guys are an awesome family. So you ready to do some push-ups?
Sure.
Can we do it on this table?
Yeah.
So we don't have to get on the floor? Okay. So we're going to try and do just push-ups for fun, because they're fun, and Amy's just an awesome person, and it's just going to be fun to do some push-ups. Face each other.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, she'll probably kill me though, because she can lift so much more than I. Okay, let's see.
I have injuries.
I'm not that strong. Okay, hear my shoulder crack.
Yeah. It's really good to do some weight stuff too.
Yeah. 9.
How many we
Probably
doing?
do about 30. If you can. Can't breathe after that though. You're competitive, though.
She's not going as well.
Are you cheating?
No! I have a shoulder injury.
Okay, I don't want to hurt your shoulder. Is that good?
Yeah.
High five. You're awesome. All right, so you can have fun out there meeting people, talking to people, and thanks to Amy. So I hope you all were inspired and learned some of the barriers that she's had, breakthroughs that she's had, and try and take her advice as well and learn from what she's talked about. I've learned a lot today, so I'm out of breath. But thanks for tuning in, y'all, and we'll be doing another show soon. But message me on Facebook if you have any questions, and let's get a breakthrough session going. So we'll be talking to you soon.